Yeah, he called me a fucking boomer, and then I was like, you're Van Morrison, fuck off. Anyways, I'm shooting a video. Thanks. How you doing, guys? My name, Brainsmasher. That's it, Brainsmasher. It's been a minute, huh? Coming at you live from the listening cabin. Today I'm here to do a contest entry. I ordinarily stay out of these contest entries because it's kind of an unfair advantage since I'm so skilled at reviewing music. I'm kidding. But my buddy Matt has reached 1,000 subscribers. I hope you all are subscribed to The Dark Path. He's got a great YouTube channel doing pretty much exactly what I do. Early on, before he started his channel, Matt was one of my favorite commenters. I would get a comment underneath my video and it was like, dude, we are so on point with so many fucking records. Anyways, Matt has started a YouTube channel a year or two ago or so, and he finally hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. Well deserved. Appreciate it, Matt. So he's done a contest, which you all should enter. You gotta subscribe to Matt. I'll put a link down below for you to check it out if you're not already subscribed. Can't imagine why you wouldn't be, but hey, your life is your pile of shit anyways. So he wants to give away a bunch of prizes to celebrate his 1,000 subs mark. And so the contest is that you talk about 2 albums that you listen to back to back, or just that you think of as a pair. And it actually took me a while to find exactly the right fit. Not that I had a lot of ideas that I was coming up with, but I really didn't have any ideas until these 2 kind of came up, as I'm always thinking about albums that I love in the back of my head. And this just fit so perfectly well with what Matt was trying to get at. And as I do with all my videos, it's something that I want to bring light to, but I feel like a lot of people don't know about these 2 albums as well as they ought to. So I hope you check out Matt's channel, watch his contest, enter his contest, and I hope you also check out these 2 albums, because back to back, it doesn't really matter which one's first. They are just so interchangeable and so similar, and it's so fun, I think, to just think about the nuances that differentiate the 2 from one another, as well as the similarities between the 2 of them. We're going to Finland today. Both of these bands are from Finland. I'm not sure exactly where, but the one we're playing in the background. So what I'm going to do, I think, is play a little bit of one for half the video and then switch it into the other one, and we'll listen to that one in the background once we get there. By the way, I filmed it on my new phone. Hope this looks all right. We'll see. I think it looks pretty good so far. So hope this works out. Hope you like it. It may not be the permanent change or whatever, but it's nice to have another option and not have to fuck with memory cards and batteries and all that shit. Even the lighting, I'm not using my usual lighting. Pretty half-assed in this video here, but I think I'm just so stoked about these 2 albums that I don't really give a shit about my production value right now. Not that I usually do ordinarily. So which one to start with? I don't know. The 2 albums in question are Rotten Sound's Murderworks, which came out in 2002? I looked all this up last night. Committed it to memory. And once I hit record, boom, it's gone. You're welcome. I believe 2002 and 2001. Black Dawn's Blood for Satan. What else would you use your blood for? So, both of these are Finnish bands. Rotten Sound are a pretty notorious grindcore band. I went on to be on some bigger labels. This is their 3rd record. Necropolis put this out. This is one of the very last pretty good Necropolis releases. Actually, it was a co-release with Death Vomit. I never really understood what was the dichotomy there between the 2 labels. But this is the 3rd of 4 albums featuring Kai Hato on drums. Hato played in Winter Sun and I think he like basically is Winter's Son along with some other guys, but super talented, just amazing fills all over the place. The dude is just insanely consistent. Even going back to his time in Vomituration and Wings, his playing is some of the most solid, consistent blasting that I've heard out of Finland. So, total grindcore band, but they put a lot of nuance and thought into their songs. You know, in ordinary, I think grindcore album is going to have 35 to 40 songs in like 45 minutes. But this has 14 tracks, and I believe these guys like really hit the mark for me, songwriting wise, because of how much thought they put into every song, especially on this album. I have not really ventured far beyond this album and this band's discography. I know a lot of you guys are probably going to tell me that I ought to, but I am so madly in love with this album. Also have it on vinyl here from Autopsy Stench Records. I think this came out in 2004 or something like that, a year or two after it originally was released. But anyways, real like HM2 crunchy tone to it, but the overall production value of this thing is just real slick, monochromatic, nice, crunchy tone to everything. And it gives a lot of, I think, breathing room to the intricacies that make both of these albums really, really satisfying listens. I do think the vocals are kind of boring. I remember when I first got into this band, thinking this is just one of the most insane bands and I want to be able to sing like this guy. But actually, going back and listening to it, it's mostly all about the riffs and the drums on this album and just the fucking perfect tone of everything on this thing. I love how they'll build up the energy on some parts and break it down with just some fucking face-punching, moshing kind of stuff. I ordinarily, I'm really picky about how I appreciate that about a band, like moshy parts and floor-punchy kind of stuff. Not that it's necessarily, influenced by hardcore or anything like that, but there's a certain visceral response that you have to metal like this that makes you just want to fucking induce violence. And this does it so fucking well. Feels weird to be talking about this album while listening to Black Dawn. So we'll get to Black Dawn. For a while I believed that, so not on vinyl, did you know I have ADHD? I thought that this was the same drummer as Rotten Sound, and I was wrong until I looked it up. Or I didn't realize I was wrong until I looked it up the other day in preparation for this video. Not the same drummer, but definitely has a lot of the same qualities that I appreciate about the playing of Kai Hato in Rotten Sound. Super just confident blasting with nice fucking intricate licks of fills going all over the place. I really, really am a fan for a decadent amount of interesting fills. Keeps it interesting, and it gives me something else to look forward to throughout the song. I hear a fill, and I either say I want to hear that fucking fill again, or just like the same fill with a little bit of a change to it. Anyways, similar guitar tone on this one, but I think the vocals are a lot more up front, as you can hear. I would honestly be interested in a reissue of this with a new pair of ears on the mix to this guy. Some of the drums are kind of a little bit too buried in the mix, and when I listen to what this album could sound like, and use this as an example, I would love to hear this album sound a lot more like this album, production-wise. They do, but drum-wise, I think this sounds just a little bit better. Anyways, really simplistic, aggressive riffing. You could probably tell someone this was Marduk and get away with it for a while. There's not really a hint of melodicism or harmony going on. It is visceral, violent, fucking nasty, satanic black metal from Finland. Quite similar to Enochian Crescent, which is a band I've always kind of meant to return to. But man, this thing is just so evil, satanic, blasty, and fun. These guys are in a lot of other Finnish bands. This really harkens back to this time period for me kind of the end of the era of really, really great 90s black metal. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to change it up, put on Rotten Sound, and keep on blabbing. So for comparison, you'll hear as we listen to Rotten Sound, there's a real monochromatic kind of dead and sterile sound to both of these albums. And I think that really, how do I put this into words as a music reviewer who doesn't do a good job at music reviews? I just think the album covers on these things, they're black, white, and red. It really just brings down all of the nuance to their level. Their portraying of violence and a darkness and an aggression by just squelching out any sense of color on their album covers. And somehow I think that's kind of metaphorical to the sound. It's just pure blasting violence. Turn this up a little bit for you. I love the use of diversity there, going from just a confident blasting part into like a slow driving monster kind of thing. Yeah, so fucking fun. I would, honestly, the drummer's fills remind me quite a bit of Austin from Panopticon, who I hung out with last weekend. So if you're like really into drum porn, this is a record you ought to enjoy. And if you're maybe just like a fair weather grindcore fan, but don't really like a lot of the stuff that a lot of people are saying is the best grindcore stuff, like I don't really care about Napalm Death really. Insect Warfare doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I think Nasm is kind of like, whatever, but this album just blows my fucking mind every time I put it on. I listened to this one like 3 times in a row last night. This one 3 times in a row. Just back and forth, back and forth. I don't think I had ever, until Matt did this contest, like listened to them in succession one after another. I just kind of always in my head married them as a pair of albums that work well together. And I always thought that they had the same drummer, which they don't. So, oh, my foot fell asleep and it's awful. The Black Dawn album, this is the only pressing of this album, so you can't find it on vinyl, and you'll have to get an OG copy of it, but I don't think you should be able to, I don't think you'd have any problem finding this for under like $20 or something, but it's so fucking good. I don't know why people never picked this up. It was kind of in like the waning days of Necropolis. So maybe they just kind of didn't put as much effort into promoting it like they did their other bands of the past, but it's super, super satisfying, as you definitely heard behind me. Pick up both of these albums. Let me know what you think about them, and have you ever like, have you heard both of them and like not thought about them together in unison? Because I always have. So that's it for today. I hope you liked the video. It's an interesting topic that Matt came up with. Go ahead and enter his contest, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for subscribing.